Born enslaved in South Carolina in 1858, Johnson Chestnut Whittaker received a congressional appointment to the U.S. Military Academy in 1876. For most of his time at West Point, Whittaker was the only black cadet at the institution. He endured social exclusion and racial terrorism perpetrated at the hands of white cadets and faculty alike. Whittaker would later testify that he had, quote, read and heard about the treatment that black cadets received there and expected to be ostracized, unquote. The morning of April 5, 1880, Cadet Whittaker was brutally beaten by white cadets while sleeping in his barracks. 3 cadets ambushed Whittaker, slashed his head and ears, burned his Bible, threatened his life, and then left him in his underwear, tied to the bed and bleeding profusely. When Whittaker told West Point administrators of this attack, they opened an investigation into him, refusing to hold his white attackers accountable. Administrators claimed that Whittaker had staged the attack to get out of his final exams, and in May, a West Point court of inquiry found Whittaker guilty. He was forced to take his final exams while imprisoned and withstand court-martial proceedings in New York City, where the Army prosecutor referred to blacks as, quote, an inferior race known to feign and sham, unquote. In January 1881, Brigadier General N.A. Miles affirmed Whittaker's conviction and authorized him to be expelled from West Point, dishonorably discharged from the military, and held for continued imprisonment. Cadet Whittaker's case was sent to President Chester A. Arthur, and a year later he issued an executive order overturning the conviction, finding that military prosecutors had relied on improperly admitted evidence. By that time, Whittaker had been in prison for nearly 2 years, and even after his conviction was overturned, West Point enforced the expulsion, claiming he had failed an exam. Whittaker went on to raise a family, including several generations of descendants who served in the U.S. military. In 1995, 60 years after his death in 1931, Whittaker's heirs accepted the commission he would have received graduating West Point and an official apology.